Hello and welcome to the Film School Chronicle. No longer your wire right to the heart of the student film scene of Brisbane, Australia. I'm your host, Bryce Quinn. Joining me is the rest of the hosts, Carmelo, Keating, Sandro, Karayan, and Jakob, Keane. This is our last episode, our very last episode of the Film School Chronicle, before we wrap it up and hand it off to potentially some new people, some first-year friends of ours who are going to take the reins and do something completely different with it. We sort of have an idea of what they've got planned, but we haven't seen anything yet, so we're excited. We're as excited as you guys are to see the next thing. But this episode is just going to be us just having a bit of a chat, reflecting on the journey, and maybe giving some hopefully useful advice to all of our faithful listeners who have been here either from the start or not at all. I don't know how many people actually watch this show. But
yeah. Anyway, how are you a listener if you haven't been here? At all.
I honestly, every time we make the show, I'm just convinced no one's actually listening to it. So,
if anyone's out there, hit the like.
But we will jump into it with, let's start off. What have we learnt from making the Film School Chronicle?
Shall we go down the line?
We'll go down the line. Jacob, what have you learnt?
also, sorry, Jacob, welcome back. When was the last time you were on the show?
The last time I was on the show, or the last time I worked on the show?
No, last time you were here, did we...
I was here for the Geordie Lillis episode.
Yeah.
I was here. And then last time I was on camera was the episode Sandro and I did in episode 11 of season 1.
There was that, but you were also briefly in the open day.
So, yeah.
Somewhere
You did jump in for open day.
I wasn't scattered
Open day.
amongst the open day episode.
I was there. That's right.
So just as a refresh, you've been our editor for a great number of our episodes that we've done.
I did pretty much all of season 1 with some help from Sandro.
Yeah.
I've done none of season 2. I've been very busy.
You had a big year.
It's been bad. I wish I could help more, but no, what have I learned?
This is a podcast.
Sandro, you go.
So you keep talking.
You go.
Gosh, there's been so much, just learning how to communicate better in this sort of team environment, learning how to convey ideas and turn those ideas into a reality. Really,
We spent 20 minutes doing that this morning.
yeah, we were so scared we couldn't fit 4 people on this couch. That
In a way that
Make
also
the
looked
pros
good.
up.
We
That
were
looks
very keen on doing a last episode that actually looked good.
pretty, yeah.
It took us a while. Hopefully we succeeded.
For anyone on this camera, this Lord of the Rings map is on a dodgy music stand,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
worth it.
Don't take them
Don't
behind
t-
the scenes.
This is the last episode. What are they
We're
gonna
breaking
do?
it down. In terms of camera stuff, I kind of just brought the camera stuff. It's been good over time, moving from the 1 camera setup, and then we had the 2 camera setup. Today we have a 3 camera setup.
Now,
Very
very
exciting.
And very last 3 camera setup.
Yeah, first and last 3 camera setup. But I'm glad for it to be here, and I'm glad that we've come this way. You can see there's so much evolution in how the lighting's changed. I've gotten so much better at lighting.
Yeah.
But that's to do with the podcast. I'm all all the stuff I've been doing outside of the podcast. Everything you do sort of helps enhance the next thing you do. So, yeah, I guess just being constantly learning.
Yeah.
Has been the trick to it. Yeah.
Mel, you got something?
I learnt, how much it takes to make online content. Because, season 1, we were trying to crank out an episode a week. And that was a massive commitment amongst other things to try and do. And just, how much... a podcast that has guests, how much effort you have to put into that, finding the right guest and just trying to get the team together, trying to find a time, because it wasn't always set, was it, as much as we would have liked. And then this year with Grad Slate, trying to make this work and bring on people who are working in the industry as well. That's a big thing. But I guess I've learned one really cool thing, I guess, from the guests that we've had on over the last 2 years. Which is, and it applies to the show, I guess we've found this as well. Nothing goes to plan. Absolutely nothing goes to plan, no matter how much you plan. So it's nice to prep for something, but you just got to roll with stuff. And that's in life as filmmakers, that's in making a project, especially something as long running as this has been. This has been the biggest project that any of us have done in terms of that. So,
Yeah, 2 years.
which
2
is
years we've done
incredible, honestly. It's awesome. So I don't know, Jacob, Bryce, wrong ones.
Where do we go?
Oh, yeah, no, Jacob, you were up first.
Okay. Back to me. I guess the main thing that I've learned is just how to continually evolve a project rather than similar to Sandro, of just being able to like continually wanting to improve something, because like, you know, short films and stuff are awesome, but you shoot it and it's done. Like, but this is like a constant evolution of like, how do we get new guests, new content, new an engaging way to like engage new people, because if you've already got people watching, how do you keep them engaged with new stuff? You can't just do the same thing every week. You got to be able to like adapt very quickly and change it, but still keep it similar to your base idea, but then modify it and make it better or as good as it can be with the equipment, the gear, the creativity you have. So I think that's the main thing I've learned. Yeah, it's like the evolution of a project. It doesn't just like start at one idea and just that's the idea. You know, you change it. Like we went from that season 2 shift into industry people because we wanted to expand our kind of viewer base a bit more and offer better advice and people who actually knew what they were talking. It's great to get Film School people on, but we don't know what we're talking about. We just talk about our own stuff, and it's like, yes, that's your entire little bubble. But then you move into this industry world, and it's like a million times better advice because there's people actually working. But yeah, I think that's the main thing I've learned. It's just evolution. Don't settle.
I learned a lot about being on camera and presenting and being someone who was interviewing other people and treating the interview as like this kind of like flow and feeling like the ebb and flow of it and jumping in when you need to and staying quiet when you need to. It was a really interesting process, and you kind of just, like anything, you learn it just by doing it and being bad at it until you're not bad at it. You just do it over and over again. Which is like the same thing you guys have been talking about, same with the show. Like we've all been looking back on the early episodes. Yeah. And looking at like how much of a shift there was from like the lighting and some of the ideas we tried out. We tried out the green screen. We tried out doing trivia.
The green screen. Man. It's sitting right over there off camera.
It is. But we tried out heaps of different stuff. We tried out doing like a survey online and then getting people to ask questions, doing listener questions and stuff. We tried out all sorts of different stuff. And a lot of the time we were like, wow, that didn't work. Anyway, next thing. But it was always fun to see and to like get to the point where we are now. We're like, here's the things we know work. Here's the things we like doing. How can we just do these better? Is kind of what we got to. And then we got to the start of this year and like, what are we going to do with this show? And I think, Sandro, you were the pushing the hardest for, we don't need to interview people at Film School anymore. We need to interview industry people because that's where we're going to get good advice from. The whole point of the show is to try and help. Yeah. So that's what we ended up trying to do. We got 3 really good industry interviews done.
I loved it.
I wish we could have done more over the course of the year, but
we did get to do some awesome ones last year as well, integrated.
We did
in the mix, but you know, this year definitely.
Yeah, I feel like there's like still like I could think of like a whole list of people I would have loved to come on, but I think this is very much like a natural end and a natural like time to leave the project as it is.
I wanted to leave it before the new year, just as like kind of like a bit of closure because we just graduated, except for Mello. We've finished that like chapter of our lives. I felt it was fitting to finish this as well and then move into different projects, and we will talk about some of those projects later in the show.
Yeah, I did want to add to one thing with the whole, we've had industry people on, we've gotten really, really great advice from them. I think because of it, I've gotten much worse as an interviewer this year, though. I'm not needing to steer a conversation or lead a conveation anymore.
They did make it easy.
They did. Because you're like you'll listen or you'll watch so many of the episodes this year. I'm just sitting there like.
Geordie in particular was like, we didn't need to say anything.
What were we even on camera for?
We didn't need to be there. He just like rolled through the show in like this incredible way. What a dude.
That was impressive.
I found the same thing with Martha as well, because Martha had just like some incredible stories.
It's just in awe, just listening to everyone. So.
Crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, so advice, shall we?
We can jump into advice. So another reason we wanted to do this episode was because we've spent 2 years listening to other people. And you'd think, hopefully, we'd get something useful out of that. So we can just do the same thing, where we go around. I can start, or you can start, Jacob. We'll go do some advice.
I'll start. I chickened out last time, so I'll start. So advice I would have, if you're looking to break into the film industry or, get on set, anything really. And I'm not really a set person. I'm a post-production guy. So, like, the set advice might not be the best. But, like, I think it's applicable to everything is... Just ask. So like the worst they can say is no. Like if you want to get on a set, if you want to get someone on the podcast, if you want to create something with people and you're not sure how to go about asking them, or you want to find a mentor, or you want to do something, the worst someone can say is no. If you're nice, approachable, you're not rude or disrespectful to them. Like there's obviously times when you shouldn't be asking, and you'll know when those times are. But like.
Or you'll figure it out.
Or you'll figure it out very quickly. I think that, going up to someone at like, don't be scared of approaching all these industry people. Like we've had Geordie come, Lucas, Martha, who are all very respected in their fields, and like I feel that just ask. The worst I can say is no. You're in the same position as before.
Yeah.
If you want to find a mentor, you want to like ask about like interning for someone at a post-production company. If you want to get on set with someone,
or if you're
someone
on
around.
set and you're troubleshooting problems, you're like, I don't know what to do.
Mm.
Just ask someone who's not super busy.
I feel like at film school, you get in this little world of like, you are, you can only ask your film school people what to do, like the other people and then all the industry people are these big, bad, scary, like people, because you don't really interact with them at all, apart from like networking events. And even then, it's just like, I'm in a room with people I don't know. So it's like, just go up, talk to people, ask people, and like, even if the conversation doesn't go exactly how you want it to go, like, that's fine. Like, just talk to them. Just, don't be an idiot. Don't be rude. Don't say anything like super like racist or like
Always good advice.
Be a good human being. And I feel that like people, the film industry is very like what I've learned like last 6 months of like talking to people, and we had that industry day at uni and stuff, is it's like they want to help you. Like they don't want like they want to expand the film industry and get people in and like get an extra set of hands on set. So like just ask. That's my advice.
Very nice.
I pass over to Bryce.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He's using his one free pass.
My free pass.
My advice: if you're going to do something, do it as soon as possible. Whenever you have a chance to do it. Same with this podcast, and we just decided one day, hey, we're going to try this out, and we started doing it, and it was really, I wouldn't say really bad, but it wasn't great. It wasn't what I dreamed it could be. And we just kept doing it and refining it, and just doing the thing. If you decide you want to make a short film, go and do it. One of my biggest regrets from film school is not making more short films outside of uni. Pretty much the only like creative projects I worked on were within uni. And I wish I'd dedicated more time to that and used some of the gear we have here for this podcast. Just if you're going to do a thing, do it once. And if you like it, continue to do it. That was some advice I actually gave to the first years you want to take over the show. Just do the thing you want to do. Don't waste time doing something you actually don't want to do.
Yeah. You throwing me?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I might piggyback off of Jacob's a little bit in terms of the worst that industry people or something can say to you is no. Don't be afraid to fail. You're gonna fail. It's film school. I know that they preach this so much. Is the film school's the place to fail. Film school's the place to make mistakes. It is because it's. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be making the same amount of mistakes outside of it when you're trying to make money for yourself.
It's been such a beautiful safety net.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, this was rubbish. Good thing I'm in film school and it doesn't matter.
1,000%.
No money riding on this except for like some of the peers who threw $50 at it.
Yeah.
Like thank God I made this mistake here.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, don't you're making mistakes. Good, make mistakes, learn from them. That's the most important thing. And don't be afraid to don't hide the projects that you made mistakes from. Like, sure, you'll make mistakes. I don't know, put it out there. Get feedback from people. Some of it's going to be harsh. A lot of it's going to be harsh. That's okay. Just take it. You'll find some good advice in whatever people are spitting at you. And use it for the next thing, because that's the only way you'll grow and you'll learn. And don't be afraid to take on big roles on bigger projects, because as much as I think second year was the big year for me personally to make mistakes, learn from them. Because of getting to produce a grad slate this year, I've never made more mistakes, but it's been incredibly, incredibly rewarding. And when you make mistakes, work through them, find a solution, and everything works out in the end, the payoff is incredible.
Also, you're not going to get a chance to be in those big roles for a long time
Yep.
after you
No.
graduate, so enjoy it.
Give it a go, honestly.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, if you're expecting that you might make mistakes and you're not afraid of making mistakes, sometimes you run into some very happy accidents. Like, I can think of a few times this year where I was lighting, for example. I'm like, this lighting setup, I'm not sure, but we'll try it out. We'll see. And I'm like, oh my God, I love it. It's so fun. This is so nice. Don't be just piggybacking off yourself for a second. Yeah. Sorry.
I will add one more thing, Sandro, just before I throw over to you, if that's right.
No.
We should just stick by each other. Like Jacob was saying, the industry people that we've got to meet, they are incredibly supportive. Film is and should be incredibly supportive. The arts are up against so many other things that they don't need to be up against each other. It is
Yeah.
it is a friendly competition, and make it that way. Support each other. Don't burn bridges. You're not going to get anywhere by burning bridges.
No.
It's just dumb.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Sorry, I do have something else to add on that. Is
Really
yeah,
quick.
about supporting each other is definitely back yourself against the stuff you're working on. Is like, don't just because someone who is like, yes, well renowned in the film industry, yes, they do have some great advice sometimes, but they're not always right. Them, just like you or I, are also susceptible to making the wrong decision or the wrong judgment call. So if you are working on a project and it's what you want to make and it's the way you want to do it, don't let someone else who is not involved in the project at all and barely knows anything about it watch the assembly cut and then decide that no, your film is rubbish, you need to do this XYZ and completely delete half the film.
you talking about Grad Slate?
Oh,
I am talking
This sounds like oddly specific.
I think from that experience, I've learned that, of like talking to you guys and like my peers about that kind of feedback is like, well, you go into this expecting, they're going to have this, or like industry people in general, are going to have this great like feedback for you. You have to listen to everything they say because they are older, they're better, they know what they're doing more than you. And in some cases, that is correct. But if you genuinely, they want you to take the project in a way that you don't want to take it, and you genuinely won't enjoy it, similar to what Bryce said earlier. If they want you to change a project into something that you don't want to do, or just make sure you do what you want to do, and don't bend your project to please someone else.
Yeah.
Especially if they're not a part of the project and they're just an external factor. Of course, take some advice on board, modify it, change it, see what you can do, adapt. But if you get to a point where that advice isn't working and it's not what you want to do, then don't feel like you have to.
Yeah. One of the smarter things I've seen done at university was from my friend Ethan, who every time we'd go into like a meeting with our supervisor, he'd write down everything on like a notebook, and then because I'd be sitting there, especially like back in second year, I'd sit there like, I hate everything you're saying. Everything you're saying is wrong. I'm a very like confrontational and aggressive person when it comes to receiving feedback. All right, I've gotten a bit better, but. And then we'd go
much better.
We'd go back and we'd review every one of those notes. And Ethan and you, Mello, this was for Hunter's Knell in second year. We'd go through.
Hunter's
okay,
Knell.
what's good, what's bad.
Yeah.
You filter it out. You
Yeah.
really take in everything, listen to everything, give everything the
100%.
time of day.
Yeah.
But then go through with a fine brush.
Yeah.
and really pick out like what works for you, what doesn't. And if something doesn't work for you and it goes against the supervisor or it goes against everyone else, but you know in your heart of hearts you need to stick with it, like our friend Ben for Otter and Fox.
Oh, yeah.
The
Oh, yeah.
amount of times he was told, you can't shoot at a grocery store. It's not going to work. You got to change your script. And
Yep.
Ben was like, no, we're going to
Yep.
work it out. And
Hey.
he sat by it for like, I think like a month
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
of our supervisor telling him we may need to change the script entirely.
Yeah.
And I must say, it's a good thing I was a yes man because I didn't want to budge on it either. or the forbidden cane toad car shot either.
Oh,
The
that.
other ones
oh,
that.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Know what to take on board.
Yeah.
But don't take. You don't have to take everything.
Okay, Sandro, your time.
Oh.
Go for
I
it.
think before I just pop into my point, I saw you checking your headphones before. Are we all good with sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was adjusting.
Okay, awesome. I think we've had heaps of people on the podcast say this already, and I feel like it's been a very common theme, especially amongst like a lot of the people in season 2. If you're making any kind of content or trying to pursue a career, consistency is key. I remember when we started this podcast, or when I first started joining this podcast, which I think was around episode like 7 or 8, something like that.
Beats me.
We started we were doing I think it was weekly, it was bi-weekly, and then we missed a week and it turned into monthly, and then we tried pulling it back to weekly, and then it turned into bi-weekly, and then you want to have a solid format for making content. And I think the same goes consistency wise, just make as much stuff as you can. The only way you're going to learn is by making stuff, either learning from your mistakes or learning what works. And then also consistency in the fact of the idea of getting in people's faces and being hey, I do this, can I do this for you? Keep in people's minds, keep in the loop, because the second you're out of the loop, it's much harder to get back into the loop. So I'd say consistency should be a very key focus.
Are we going to take a commercial
I
break?
think we should, yeah. Please enjoy this message from our sponsors. Welcome back. So we're going to go into a fun little bit now, just basically reminiscing, recounting some favourite memories, favourite episodes, favourite stories from the last 2 years.
And who knows, maybe we'll even bring them up on screen in the edit.
Yeah.
Maybe we will. Maybe we'll
That'd be fun.
Extra editing.
Can't wait for Bryce to send me a message at like 12 o'clock one night. Like, I don't have this footage. You're gonna drive over and give me it.
I'll just download it off YouTube. Anyway,
Right, I might start us off.
Go for it.
Okay, so one of my favourite memories that we've spoken about before. So if we all remember the Andy Neal episode, the listeners, watchers, great episode. Andy Neal is such a great guy, very, very supportive of us all. Good one to know. But the thing is, the real interview happened after we stopped rolling. And thank God it did, because he would not have been able to say anything on camera that he said. Basically, just, talked us through some of the most interesting parts of his early career working for, the radio news
some of the
stations,
juiciest
TV
gossip
stations.
about ABC and even some of the inner workings at Griffith University.
Yeah,
It's just the funniest chat ever. I hope no one important listens to this. Andy shouldn't get in trouble, but oh my God, it was just like the funniest chat.
Yeah, it's such a tell that this is Andy Neal, the guy who was the producer of The Chasers War on everything, and you can tell from his stories of the early
He's
days
just like
of his
a
career.
chaotic dude.
He's
He's
amazing.
like, I would love to bring down every system in Australia. He's just like an anarchist. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's such a funny
He is.
story.
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, throw it to someone else. Go
I've
on.
got one.
Yeah.
I really liked the moment we had Leo and Crathan on the show a while back, a long while back, and they were both really, really great because Crathan was in journalism for a really long time, and Leo has some incredible stories of all of the time he spent overseas. We interviewed both of them. They're both really well-spoken, like eloquent dudes.
Yeah.
And after the chat, I remember like we really enjoyed the show. We got up and we all just looked at each other like, "Wow, that was really good." And specifically because of Leo and Crathan, how great they were. We just had this moment where we just like looked at each other like, "That was a really good episode." And we just like had this like glow, this post-podcast glow to us of like, "That was a really good episode."
It's just like a clean.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
really enjoed like the whole thing. We just felt like really good about it. It was a nice feeling.
That was a good episode.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Yeah.
I think for me it was I really wanted to have like Geordie and Lucas on.
Yeah.
And, like having Geordie and Lucas on was like amazing. I'm still listening to like Cinematographer, still getting like a bunch of information there when I need to like listen to a podcast.
Also, you don't listen to this podcast.
I actually, funny enough, I've like
Shame.
gone back and listened to like old episodes. I had like my first big truck loading gig.
Yeah.
And it was nice to have, and I went back and listened to like the Emma Jordan episode, like before the second day, and I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. It just like got me so like hyped up.
Yeah.
And it's nice like coming back to something that like even like us as the creators can like take value from.
I remember you told me that a while back, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" I was like, super chuffed. I was like, "Oh, that's actually." So, if anyone gets a truck loading gig, our episode with Emma Jordan, she goes very in depth on specific nitty gritty camera like truck loading advice, which was awesome.
Which speaking. Oh, are you still going?
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, speaking of which, that remains my favorite episode.
Nice.
Because I feel like that's the first episode where we got all the lights set up. We got the camera. Well, we had a few camera episodes before that and shot episodes.
I think
But I think that was the episode
Yeah.
that I think we really were like, all right, this is our first like quality episode that we were all really happy with. And afterwards, after she left, we were all like,
Hell yeah.
nice.
Because we wanted to impress her, because
Exactly.
like, she was the biggest name we had on the show so far.
Yes.
And we kept hearing about her at uni.
Yep.
And she's just like, oh yeah, Emma Jordan getting into the industry, actually getting on sets and getting paid
Yeah.
to work, 2 months straight.
So much so that you can drop out of uni after second year and work, which
Exactly.
was amazing to us. That was an incredible feat. So
We're all looking like, wow, I want to do that.
that'd be amazing.
How'd we go?
So I feel like
There's still time.
I can still drop out now. I don't need to finish.
yes, that's my favorite for like sentimental reasons.
Yeah.
Sandro, you had more you wanted to
Yeah,
know?
keep going.
I think Open Day was really fun.
That was.
I was
Day
going to
was
say
an
that
episode.
is my favorite episode, actually.
Right,
Is the Vox Pop one.
Like
yeah.
setting up the stall like
yeah.
behind and just like I think like the chaos. Like at one
Oh,
point
so
I had to
chaotic.
leave. I had to leave my camera there. It was so scary.
It was very chaotic that
Yeah,
day. It was really fun.
What's been really fun, actually, is I rewatched that episode recently. And I was just like, we had a bunch of first and second years on. I got to meet them this year, almost all of them. The ones
Oh,
that
wow.
we had on,
Yeah.
like had so many. It was just random moments where like I'd be in the library and I see the second year, and we're like, "You look familiar." Yes, so do you. Were you on the podcast?
Yes.
Nice.
It was a fun day. Very, very
It was
chaotic.
so chaotic. We even had a philosophy student from UQ on the podcast.
That was planned. Yeah. And then we stopped hosting for a time as well. We just
Yeah, we just let other people host it at one
free
point.
for all.
Yeah. That was a good day.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, like, I think another thing was like you being like, I don't feel like hosting, or like you being too busy to host,
Yeah.
and being like, Sandro, you can just sit
Jump
on the
on.
couch.
Come on, do it.
And like sometimes I was like just completely like you weren't gonna I could not host a podcast. I just leant on Carmelo so much. I'm like, help me.
And there was
Keep-
one point. I'll just check if that makes sense.
Sorry, what did I do?
But no, you're fine.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
Real good. There was one point where I jumped in like halfway through a show where we take a break.
I think it was
every
the Geordie episode.
Because our cameras only record for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I jumped in. I was like, "Hey, Sandro, you haven't said anything this whole half. You need to jump in.
Yeah.
All right, I need you back in the game in the second half. Right?
Yeah.
Jump in.
Get your head in the game.
Come on. And then you jumped in the second half and you just like took the reins
Oh,
and you
yeah.
like started asking questions and stuff.
And then we won. So
And then we won
Yeah,
the
we
game.
won.
And then we won the game. I got the ball through the goal.
through the goal.
Yeah.
Into the
But
diamond.
yeah.
you definitely like took the opportunity and like learned some interviewing skill over the course of like your,
Yeah.
Oh,
your
yeah, no, it's
duration on the
cool.
show.
It's incredibly beneficial, I think. Also, just like that open conversation with like more industry people. Not that it doesn't happen. Like I always enjoy like post episode chats because it's just like more chill environment. I don't have you looking at me.
And we get to just like kind of pack down the gear while we talk to industry people, and they just ask us about us, and we ask them about them, and it's fun, it's chill.
Yeah.
It's always been fun.
Yeah.
And if it's also nice when it's just like our friends who are also incredibly talented.
Yeah.
And we ask them like, oh, how you doing? And then like
A good catch up.
It's good catch up, and they get to see like what the show looks like on the other side. And like, oh wow, this is crazy. You guys do this every week.
Yeah. Yeah, you
And we
lock
say,
yourselves in this room and you get hot as you record an episode.
Yeah, we have to like. There's no aircon in here, and we have to box it all in, so we're really hot
Every week.
Every
That we do. Yeah. No, it's good. Jacob, were you building to something there? No? Okay, right. I do have one.
Actually,
Yeah,
so,
go ahead.
I think one of our best episodes to date is still Geordie Lillis. I think that was out. That was out because it was our most fluid episode.
Geordie's
one of our
episode.
most best shot episodes. Our most chaotic episode apart from Open Day. Just for the chick, he's just a
If
chaotic
you haven't
man.
listened to that
Yeah.
episode, you need to go and listen to Jordy Les. He's crazy. He's
Yeah.
an insane dude, and he talked about how he straight up broke his back.
Yep.
And then it was either a year or a year and a half later, he was back filmmaking.
Oh, and then he got hit by lightning.
And
Just
then
forgot about
he
that.
got struck by lightning. Like the
Made it
dude's
big on Facebook or
Yeah.
TikTok or something. Yeah,
He's
TikTok,
insane.
yeah.
He's a
I didn't
crazy
know how much
dude.
actual filmmaking he spoke about. I think he just spoke about his life stories,
Yeah.
and that was like
It was
in and of itself
entertaining enough.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
had some really, really invigorating advice because I remember after the episode, he
Oh,
left.
yeah.
You and
We're like,
you and
let's
Mello
go.
both looked at me like, we need to make 3 episodes this
I was-
week.
I was
I'm like,
ready-
"Whoa."
He's ready to take on the world.
Yeah,
really,
he's a
really
very inspirational guy.
He is. He's an inspirational dude.
Yeah.
That's another just like listen to it. It's a good hype up episode.
Yeah,
Very
for
good hype up
for
episode.
sure.
Yep.
Fitting.
Listen to it. I'm going on a run or something.
Yeah. And if you haven't been hit by lightning, you have no excuse to not make film.
I thought you were going to
That's
encourage
pretty
people.
much what he even said. Like that entire just that episode was like, look, I've broken my back. I've been hit by lightning. You know, you need to make film. There's no excuse.
make
You need to
films.
do it. I was like, yeah,
Really, really crazy.
it's so funny.
What'd you have, Mello?
Okay, so no, I've got a big one. This is real sentimental and whatever. But it's over the last 2 years. It's actually meeting first years and second years, even people in our cohort who watch the show, listen to the show, and find value in it.
Mm.
You know, it's incredibly gratifying to be like, you know, oh, this has actually been worth it.
Testimonials.
It's been
Yeah.
for something. Yeah.
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 I found out on set
Yeah.
that a first year didn't actually know about like Lucas de Milano's podcast, which is obviously a much bigger
Much
podcast.
Oh, yeah.
In like a very similar subject range, but he only knew about this one, and he then found out about Lucas's podcast through us, and now has been listening to Lucas's podcast.
Well, that's cool.
We did one
Yeah.
person good.
Yeah.
We helped one.
See what we do for you, Lucas. Just a little bit here and there.
Lucas, I know you love this podcast. How are you? How are you doing?
Hey, Lucas, he's definitely listening. We've also inspired other people to begin similar projects.
So you told
In
me
a
about
sense.
this.
Oh, really?
This is not from my own mouth. He kind of said it himself.
You said so it's Felix? No.
No,
Fraser.
Fraser Brockett,
Fraser
44 Clovers.
So Fraser Brockett started 44 Clovers. I still haven't had a chance to chat to him.
Yeah.
But I really
Neither.
love his channel and his content. I read his posts all the time and stuff. And
good.
apparently he was in part inspired to
Inspired
start
by
his
us.
much more successful
Oh, yeah.
page.
Yeah.
Bigger than ours.
Oh yeah.
by this podcast. So that's something.
Oh,
That's,
Wow, I didn't
that's
know
something,
that.
I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember being real jealous. It's like, wow, he started something that's pretty similar and much more popular.
But he went all the way in.
Yeah,
he went all in.
He makes much better videos.
More advice for content creation.
He's done really well at it.
Yeah. Any other moments? Because I'm going to jump onto a fun little segment.
A lot of the time, just like in the morning, just like rocking up here before everyone else. I really love getting up early in the morning and doing something, and this was the perfect outlet for me to just get up and be productive in the morning. It was really, really fun. I love cold mornings specifically.
Winter was great last year.
So it was like, that was prime Film School Chronicle times last year in winter, and we'd get up every week on a Saturday or Sunday morning. We'd come here and record, and I have incredibly fond memories of that time, and I'm very, very grateful for you guys for saying yes to my stupid self-indulgent idea of us talking each week to a camera and coming along and doing it, and it's very grateful. I should save that for the end. That's right.
That's what we're doing now.
Well, I'm not sure. Do we have a gap at the end after this next segment, or
we can come back to it.
Like a final
statement? We
statement?
make room for the sentimentals because I think it's
I finished.
Okay. Yeah. Well, actually, we do. We've got one more thing.
One more thing.
From the grave, we revive everyone's favorite segment that we haven't used in a long time. The future is looming,
Indeed it
and
is.
now for us, the future is now. It's loomed. It's leapt.
I think it is looming currently.
It's looming.
It's currently looming.
So, guys, what's in store? What does the future hold for all of us?
So, in a shocking turn of events, I've come up with another podcast.
What?
And we're gonna do it.
What?
Emma, should I just do
online content creation guys come up with another online?
Should I do the full
content
pitch
creation?
here for people?
Do it.
So,
do it. Yeah,
at
now's
least
the
a partial
chance.
pitch.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I've been listening to a bunch of podcasts recently, and I heard one called Story Break, and they do this really fun conversational writers podcast show where they literally get an idea, let's say a movie just about Jar Jar Binks, we're gonna write it, and they come up with, over the course of an hour, they write out the full pitch for this thing, and they do an elevator pitch at the end of the show. I'm like, that's really cool. They then did an entire series where they wrote out the scripts for it. I'm like, that's really cool as well. At the same time, we're all bemoaning how much we hate the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. And I put those two ideas together, and we are now going to be working on a show called Fixing the Sequel Trilogy, which is a conversational writers podcast where we go through and we fix all of the sequel movies. And that is the pitch. And yes, this prod design will be used.
Wait a minute. We like Star Wars? When was that ever here?
So yeah, from the self-indulgent and arrogant people who brought you the Film School Chronicle, I hope you can't wait for another podcast where we all talk all the time
About Star Wars. Though. That's great.
Anyway, enough me being an idiot. That's the pitch for the show.
That's fun.
That's what I want to do next year. And what we're doing.
Jakob, Sandro, have you guys?
Oh yeah. Well,
You guys have actual things you want to do, so go talk about that.
Yeah.
Do you want to go? You want me to go?
You've got a job, dude.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. So what I'm doing currently is I am working on a bunch of my own stuff on the side. I'm still editing some wedding video we took this year. Doing some stuff. A lot of little things. Working on a few projects, short films, etc. At the moment, recently, in the last 2 days, Sandro and I's short film that we worked on, our grad film, has been selected for a film festival, Flickerfest in Sydney, which
very
is
exciting.
great news. It's one of the biggest.
I haven't had a chance to say congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
That is a
Awesome.
massive
Yeah,
success. Like
so-
Flickerfest, if anyone doesn't know, is like one of the biggest ones you could
Yeah.
possibly get into
It's one
out
of
of
the-
uni. Like,
Literally,
holy cow.
Yeah,
it
we're
is-
really
it is one of
happy.
the biggest short film festivals in Australia, and it's also an international film festival, which is even better. I believe on the website, this is where I got it from. They had about 3,200 submissions, and there was only 200 accepted, and we're in that. So
Yeah.
big shout out to Maya, Remy, Rue, the rest of the crew.
Yeah.
This is Solitude, but
Yes,
This is
Solitude. Film's called Solitude.
You can find it at Solitude Film on Instagram if you want to check it out.
Film on
That is-
Instagram. We got a bunch of BTS up
the
there.
socials.
A bunch of stuff on my account as well, which I'll plug later.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. We might be doing a little road trip. That's in January, so we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, check out the social media. Everything's on there about it. I'm also currently working at a production company in Brisbane, doing some corporate work, which is really fun. I'm only casual there at the moment as a junior editor, but hopefully in the new year, I've only been working there for 2 weeks, so so it's a little bit still fresh, but yeah, it's going pretty well. Hopefully we'll be back there next year, and next year, other than that, I've got some other stuff that I want to work on. I'll work on a little bit of my own content creation. I'm not working on the Star Wars podcast. Not really my style. I'm not a writer. But I've got a couple of other little projects that I want to work on, mainly for like TikTok and Instagram, that I'm still kind of figuring out. And then I also do photography. So I'm getting more into photography next year, which was cool because I shot all the BTS for Soul Food, Otter and Fox.
It's
and
really
Nuclear.
nice BTS.
So I
It's
really
got this
got
lovely
into it.
picture of me.
There's so many lovely pictures of you, man.
There are a lot of pictures of me.
And now I'm just rambling on. But yeah, that's all the stuff I'm doing. It's a big year next year, hopefully. So hopefully I can quit my job at the cinema. For those who didn't know, I work at a cinema, and I don't like it.
Lost the spark, lost the magic.
It has lost the magic for sure. I now can't eat popcorn.
Oh no.
Floor ornament is what I call it. I clean too much.
A very impressive spread of stuff that you've had going and continue going next year. So we're all very proud of you, Jacob.
Oh,
But enough about
Good
you.
on you, man.
Yeah, what's Sandro doing?
Oh,
Sandro's
no.
got even bigger news than I do.
No, I really don't. That was really good. Why do I have to go after him?
Sandro, you were on a feature film. Talk
Yeah.
about that.
I did. I'm not sure how much I can say. I did some
No one's
dailies.
watching this. Say as much as you
Yeah, I did some dailies truck loading on a feature film produced by Hoodlum, and it was my first time sort of on a much bigger set outside of uni, and
People might have heard of this film. It's called The Land of Bad.
it's called The Land of
Who's
Bad.
got in it, Sandro?
It has
You
with
can't
Russell
say that.
Crowe and
Russell
Liam
Crowe
Hemsworth.
and Liam Hemsworth.
He's
Yeah,
met one of
there's
the
some
Hemsworth
really
brothers.
big American actors on the producing and
American.
American.
I mean, there are other ones.
New Zealand and Australia.
Can we cut that?
That's staying
Liam
in.
Hemsworth is literally known. They're literally known for being Australian. It's like Russell Crowe is like New Zealand, but
He's Aussie young.
he's Aussie
The
stolen.
football team.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Some really big Hollywood actors.
There we go.
Hollywood.
There we go.
Yeah.
No, it was a lovely time. The camera department was really nice. I was super fresh and did not know what I was doing. I think I was just replacing somebody who was sick, and it was a big environment for me to sort of get my head around. But every camera department is really nice. They just ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Always ask questions, because then you look like an idiot if you don't ask questions and you don't know what you're doing. So ask questions so you can ask questions, remember the answer.
Don't ask the same question 5 times.
Yeah,
They'll
don't
think
do
you're
that.
even more of an idiot than
Yeah.
not asking the question.
That's been really great. Was working on this other feature for a Griffith Masters student recently. It was first AC on that. So what I'm pursuing a career in camera department, using my sort of work that I have experience in first AC, second AC stuff within uni, and just trying to find more entry-level positions outside of uni
In specifically long form, right?
Yeah, in long form.
You'll take whatever you can get, but long form camera department is where you want to get to.
Yeah.
It's a pretty specific thing, and I think it's important for anyone who doesn't know. You got to kind of pick. If you want to end up somewhere, you got to say, I want to do long form camera department. If you want to do corporate videography, that's a completely different
different
field.
Yeah.
different thing.
But they're similar skill sets, but you're gonna go down different paths.
For sure, certainly. I think it's almost also a completely different shift in career profile, really.
Yeah.
And other than that, I just have a few small projects running around at the moment. Gonna work on a few more short films just to keep busy. Currently color grading a few projects myself as well as then helping you out on your next podcast endeavor, because
Love
you
podcasts.
need a camera, don't you?
Need a camera, and I need a funny guy who knows a lot about Star Wars. So
Oh, no.
that's- So I've got Mello. No.
I'm the less funny guy who knows stuff about Star Wars, but we know.
Realize that actually, I believe it was
Um,
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hi. How
Yeah,
you
your
doing,
turn, man.
Oh, frick yeah.
The future has loomed on you.
Just loomed on me.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's real meta. So, Otter and Fox, the grad set I produced this year, is now come to a close. We're in the process of getting it's starting to get submitted to festivals. Going to spend the next 18 months to 2 years, taking that to as many as we can, trying to get into some big ones as well. Maybe Flickr Fest next year, but I know they like exclusivity, so who knows. But that's
probably not worth waiting.
no, absolutely not worth waiting a year. We're going to go in.
Just for the record, we managed to sneak in right on the deadline that's why
Yeah.
the other Griffith films, it's not because they're any worse than ours. They are definitely just as good. We just managed to find that sweet window of just sneaking in there. Yeah.
You've got a really good research team for your festivals.
Oh,
as
yes.
well, so catch up on
Yes, we do.
His name is Remy.
Remy
Weber.
Yeah.
I love
But-
the show.
Here's the thing, if you haven't seen Otter and Fox yet, or any of the Grad Slate films, they are up on the Griffith website. If you search Griffith Graduate Productions 2022, you go in there. Can we say
You
this? Can we
cannot
talk
say the
about this?
password.
We can't say this?
You can't.
That's fine.
No, what? It's because you can't have it on a
can't
site
put it
that's
there.
accessible by the public.
I see.
Public
That's fine.
podcast, so we can't,
Okay, maybe
unfortunately.
reach out to us if you
DM
want to
us
watch
and we'll
them.
give you the
Give you the- but search for the productions, we'll give you the podcast. Yeah.
Did I say podcast? I meant password.
Password, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see about
yes.
that one. We'll have to check.
Yeah. So taking Otter and Fox around. That'll be really, really cool. Keen to do that because it turned out really
Fun
well.
fact, real quick.
Yeah.
So anyone who doesn't know, festival submissions run on 2-year cycles. We
Yeah.
found out this year.
Yep.
So we have the short film Otter and Fox.
Yep.
We want to take that to festivals over the next 2 years.
Yep.
You get the big ones this year, and then
Yeah.
hopefully some smaller ones the year after.
Yeah.
2-year cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also copyrighted for 2 years by the uni.
Uni
so, like,
copyrights
that's
is for you.
yeah, it's
Amazing.
incredible, pretty chill.
Yeah.
So yeah, doing that. I have gotten to get into way more production office stuff this year, and I love it. Honestly, it's great getting to do some AD work. Just being a production assistant, I've through doing producing got into location scout and helping casting and that sort of thing, and that's really, really cool. So that's what I'm chasing. Chasing work and stuff in production office areas. Putting it out there, Carmelo Keating, AD and other production office stuff for hire or not for hire, I don't care. I would love to be starting to earn in film, but also I just want to do more projects. I want to be on short films. So if you need, someone in AD stuff, or honestly, locations has been a dream. So let me know. We're running out of time here, so I'm going to keep powering through it. I am just on the cusp of graduating. I've got an elective left in which I want to do an internship. So pursuing avenues there. Production office. Surprise, surprise. And then Doco. Doco is my last subject, which I'm really, really looking forward to. Keen on documentaries. See if I'm still keen on after that.
Awesome.
That's cool. Writing the Star Wars podcast and doing that with you guys. That's really, really cool. And then the big piece for me personally is getting back in the director's chair and getting to direct more projects. That is my passion, so I'm going to chase that. But yeah, that's me. That's what I'm up to.
And that's the future for us.
Yeah.
Future.
I think.
Future's
Does
illusion.
anyone have any closing? I have one.
I don't know if we've got time for all of us to have a closing remark. So Sandro, if you want to go for
We
it.
have 90 seconds.
Go. Sum it up for all of us.
I had a great experience this year, and I told Bryce about it somewhere near midway through the year, of someone considering film school, wanted some information and wanted to meet up. Eventually, we did end up meeting up, but between the time of here and then, I recommended watching the podcast. It sort of happened accidentally, but I realized that we've sort of structured season 1 and 2, where season 1 is a really great season for people considering film school, because it's just us interviewing our friends and people we know, and they give a lot of really helpful information about how film school operates. And then our second season is really great for people within film school. Whilst you'll get value from it no matter what, but it is really awesome for people in film school when we're bringing in people with a lot of industry experience, and that can really give that different perspective. And I'm so happy to have worked on a project where we're able to give this information and help people out and answer questions.
I want to jump on your point and do something that we wanted to do before. Come back to it. Just say massive thank you to Bryce. A big thank you to the team, guys. This has been an incredible journey to go on with you all. I don't know. Small claps. I don't know how I would have been wasting my time over the last 2 years in what time I had available if not doing this with you all. And I'm so glad that I've been able to fill that with a project that's been meaningful to others as well as being useful to ourselves. Thank you all. Thank you for, way back in January of last year, actually coming to me and wanting to do this with me, man. It's been great.
That has been great.
Yeah.
Say just quick thank you. Thank you for, despite me being sometimes an annoying person, sticking with the project, and just helping, making it exist. I couldn't have made this exist by myself, so I'm always grateful for the people who say yes to my silly ideas and jump on board, because without anyone else, I would be just a useless dude with a whole bunch of podcast ideas. So. Jacob, you got anything?
Thank you all for being my friends, my peers, my colleagues, and working on everything all the crazy ideas that we've come up with over the years. Short films, music videos, weddings, all these kinds of things. You guys are my go-to people, and yeah, it's been a good ride. So thank you.
And now it's done.
And now it is done.
Yeah,
it's done.
There we go.
So-
Rightio. So was it Sandro? Did you have something how you wanted to run this?
We had a way of saying goodbye because this is goodbye.
Yeah.
This is the last episode.
I've been Jakob Keane. You can find me on Instagram at jacob.keane or jacobkeane.film. Facebook is just Jakob Keane. Yeah, goodbye.
I've been Sandro Karayan. You can just find socials as Sandro Karayan. And yeah, goodbye.
I've been Carmelo Keating. You can find me on social media as either Mello Keating or Mello Keating Film as well. Trying to get that up and running. So thank you and goodbye.
And I've been Bryce Quinn, and you can find me next March on fixing the sequel trilogy. But for now, this has been the Film School Chronicle. Thank you so much for watching.
That's
done.
it. There we go.
Wow.
It's fucking hot in here. It's so warm. Oh, I'm sorry. It's so bad.
You know what we've never had?
What? Yeah.
We've never had one of those like post video, like, oh, we're chatting post video, the video's about to end.
Yeah.
You know?
You want to do that?
It'd be kind of funny. Like cut to black and then we're just chilling in the room.